Hello, my name is Quinn. I'm a resident of Alaska and a registered independent voter in Wasilla, the hometown of Sarah Palin. In the last primary election, I voted the Republican ticket. In Alaska, we have no state income tax, and each year the state uses oil money to pay every man, woman, and child to live here. This is easy because we have almost the smallest population in the country, with a little more than 500,000 people, and only one city larger than 100,000. Sarah became governor with a total of 115,000 votes, representing 48% of our popular vote. Our state is funded by big oil. The higher the price of oil, the more money we make for doing nothing. This year, because of high oil prices, each man, woman, and child will receive more than $3,000 each from Sarah, which makes her very popular here. Beyond no state tax, we have billions and billions of dollars in our surplus reserve permanent fund, which is renewed annually by big oil. We consistently request and receive the most federal pork barrel spending per person of any state by far. When bridges needed to be rebuilt after being damaged by Hurricane Katrina, our Senator Stevens instead took the money for 2 bridges in Alaska that we do not need and could pay for by ourselves. One bridge was for the direct benefit of Sarah's tiny town of Wasilla, and the other is the bridge that goes nowhere. I think we might be the only state in the nation not to have a state-funded transportation improvement capital program because we know we can take federal pork barrel money instead. It is kind of a tradition here in Alaska to steal federal money for projects instead of spending our own surplus oil money. It is almost a joke among our elected leaders, who consist of a Congressman Young under criminal investigation for corruption involving earmarks, our Senator Stevens being charged with accepting bribes from big oil, and our other Senator Murkowski, who was first appointed via nepotism by her father when he was governor before Sarah. You can tell we select quality moral leaders here, and we selected them again in the recent primary elections, despite or because of their reputation. Of course, we also picked Sarah, who is currently under a criminal investigation initiated by her own Republican Party for abusing her power as governor. She refuses to tell the truth under oath until after the presidential election. Why refuse to tell the truth until after the election? Maybe, then, McCain can pardon her, like Bush pardoned those who jeopardized national security by outing a CIA agent, who was married to a man that gave evidence Bush was lying about Iraq. When it comes to family values, Sarah rules a state which consistently ranks among the top for rape, domestic violence, child abuse, alcoholism, etc. We have the resources to help these victims and reduce or prevent these evils, but we choose not to, based on greed and selfishness. Where do you think the money might go when Sarah gives $3,000 to each family member of an abusive man who is beating them? Do you think the children and wife keep the money? Or maybe we are rewarding the abuser and encouraging the behavior to continue. Do you think it's a good idea to hand a lump sum, $3,000 in cash, to an alcoholic? We do. In Wasilla, where Sarah was mayor, we even used to make women pay for their own rape kits if they wanted to prosecute the attacker. Alaska is the richest state in the Union and has the resources to build the best systems for healthcare, education, library, and employment, but we do not. Instead, we follow greed and selfishness to steal federal money from taxpayers around the country to build unnecessary pork barrel projects. Even our governor thinks it's okay to charge per diem expenses to the taxpayer while she stays at home. These are our family values. We have massive money we did not earn, but it is not invested by the government to build systems for the common good or help the meek. Do you think a rich person deserves to be paid $3,000 by the state instead of funding health care for poor children, improving the quality of education, or providing job training? We do. These are the values of the 115,000 voters who selected Sarah to be our governor. She is a good speaker that can read the script written for her from a teleprompter very well because she was trained as our local TV sportscaster. I watched both national conventions and listened to her speech with special interest. She spoke well, but she was lying to your face and intentionally misrepresenting the truth, just like George has for 8 years. If she lies now, when you can check the facts, and she hides from the press like Bush, what do you think will happen when she is telling you that Iran has weapons of mass destruction? Will you believe her also when she tells you that we must borrow trillions of dollars from our children's future to help big oil make record profits by attacking another country? McCain selected Sarah as a female Dan Quayle, because this worked for Bush before on shallow-minded single-issue voters who do not consider the big picture or think long-term. She is meant as a red herring to distract the single-issue voters and the press from the bigger long-term picture. She will be one heartbeat away from the presidency, behind the oldest running first-term president. This is the first indication of how he will make presidential decisions. Do you honestly believe that he thinks Sarah is the best qualified person in the nation to step in for him as president? He had months to make an intelligent choice, but he waited until the last minute so the focus groups could tell him who to pick without regard for qualifications or ability. He is a maverick like Bush was compassionate. She claims to be a follower of Jesus Christ. But the Prince of Peace does not bless war or those who follow the 7 deadly sins to justify their actions. Pride, gluttonous consumption of resources, lust for power, based on the envy of other nations' resources, and threats of wrath do not represent the example Jesus Christ gave. Jesus taught that weapons should be converted to plowshares, to grow food and feed the hungry. He would never be pro-gun or pro-war or believe in trickle-down economic policies where making the rich richer is noble. Jesus taught the meek would inherit the earth, while he worked as a community organizer to help the poor, and was mocked by the powerful rich who followed the 7 deadly sins on their way to hell. Come to think of it, if Jesus was alive today, he would probably be crucified again by the greedy rich who support the death penalty, refuse to act as good Samaritans or love their neighbors, do not forgive their enemies or turn the other cheek, or help the poor and the needy. Instead, they continue to violate many of the 10 commandments, especially thou shalt not kill, and constantly appeal to the primary deadly sin which is the heart of the others, pride. Those who call themselves Christians and support such policies are building hell on earth with hypocrisy and lies. They are not true Christians, or they are letting themselves be deceived like fools and acting like lemmings running off a cliff to make the rich richer. On issues like energy and the environment, Alaska has massive potential for alternative energy with wind, geothermal, and tidal, but we would rather do nothing and choose big oil. If polar bears get in the way, Sarah petitions to have them removed from the endangered species laws, protecting them, the same way she did for beluga whales when they got in the way of the bridge to Wasilla. If the Pebble Mine project might pollute the water and destroy the environment, we say mining is more important. When it comes to sportsmanship, Sarah recently used $400,000 in state money to influence the ballot measure encouraging the hunting of wolves in remote locations using aircraft. This was in response to Sarah previously illegally establishing a $150 bounty for the left front foot of each dead wolf killed by state-sanctioned airborne wolf hunters, which was overturned by the Alaska state courts. These wolves were of no threat to humans and have lived in natural balance with their surroundings for thousands of years. On international issues, Sarah obtained her passport last year when she was 43 and has only traveled once outside of North America. Sarah makes a perfect governor for Alaska because we do not care about the rest of the world as long as they pay us for our oil. If you like her, like we do, then come visit her in our state. Come for a beautiful vacation, or move here. She matches our values well, but please, please do not put her one heartbeat away from the presidency. The nation cannot handle more greed and lies and big oil diplomacy. To encourage others to think and stop following the 7 deadly sins which are leading our country to hell, please share this message or request your local radio station play Quinn the Eskimo. Those who hear it will understand.